This episode is brought to you by Dallas Hemp Co., home of the infused dinner.
Chris,
Yes, sir.
so for the people who don't know you, please introduce yourself.
Man, my name is Chris Doyle. Everybody knows me by Coach Chris. I coach here in Frisco, Texas. I was born in Memphis, but I was raised in Monroe, Louisiana.
And please explain to the people what it is that you do.
I'm a sports agent for the Ballengee group in Dallas, Texas. We represent NFL players. We also do baseball, MMA, boxing. We tap into every sport, but I work in the football division.
Okay, and working in the football at the Ballengee group, you got to know something about football, of course.
Yeah, for
Sports,
sure.
period.
No doubt.
So,
Yeah.
so what else is it that you do as well? Because I've been noticing you've been training Charleston
Yeah.
White. You've been getting it in with Shawn Cotton.
Yeah.
You've been working them balls,
Right.
man. So how did you get into boxing? Like, is it something that you always done, or
Yeah, I played football growing up in Louisiana. Played for Ouachita. Played Pee Wee. I played out throughout my younger years. But how I got into boxing, man, it's kind of a long story. But I was in a group home I think I was 14, 15 years old. And that's kind of how it birthed. I think we were acting up, everybody on the, in the hallways acting up. So the warden came in. It's like, look, y'all settle y'all's differences. He brought some gloves and just told us go at it, and we kind of got a lot off our chest. And guys that you had beef with, man, they squashed it real quick. But I had a natural, gift for fighting. I mean, I was a good street fighter, like everybody says that. But
Okay.
I was quick, I was athletic, I had the skill. And I remember one of the guys that worked at the group home was like, man, you need to try to do this. And once I was released from the group home, that's when I started. That's when I got into it. So.
Okay, most definitely. So training somebody like Charleston and Shawn, that's a great thing to do. So what do you feel like is the most interesting thing about training people who are not original boxers? What is the most important thing that you teach them?
Man, kudos to all coaches. Everybody has their own style. Mine is definitely fundamentals. I think, man, everybody says they can do it or they can fight. Man, I'm gonna tell you, fighting and boxing is two completely different things. One of my things is just, man, fundamentals. It could be the jab, it could be the 1-2, the simplest of stuff. So my main focus, and I mean, I'm over 20 years in this, man. I'm a retired pro fighter, amateur.
Okay.
I've been training for years, man, and I've trained, pro athletes, football players, NBA players, so it's all the same, whether it's, it don't matter if it's an entertainer, if it's an athlete, they all look like this day one. And I tell guys this, man, everybody look like that day one. Even the top tier fighters you see now they might have started at 8 years old, but everybody looks the same way. So the biggest thing is fundamentals and most importantly, conditioning. So for a guy like Charleston or even Shawn Cotton or somebody like that that's never boxed before, they live a completely different lifestyle. The biggest thing is conditioning.
Okay.
Is getting them to change that lifestyle. Because, man, you could have, all the skill set in the world, but if you get tired in the ring, it don't matter. So, but I'd say before anything, getting their body conditioned to what we do in the ring or the octagon, and then kind of building on there from fundamentals.
Okay, what do you feel like is your best asset when it comes to being around all these professional athletes and different celebrities? Might I add, what is your best asset when it comes to relating to these people every day?
I just think the path that I had to take, a lot of guys relate to me, in that sense. A lot of these athletes, whether it's boxing, football, whatever, man, a lot of them come from unfortunate circumstances,
Okay.
and I kind of grew up the same way, We'll get into that story later, but I mean, I was homeless as a teenager,
Okay.
So, just having to get it out of the trenches and surviving, knowing where your next meal or your next bed you're going to sleep in, I can relate to these guys that come from, worse circumstances. Growing up in Louisiana is tough. It's a beautiful place, but at the same time, it's dangerous. So,
Okay. And what is something that you preach to players whenever you talk to them when they first enter a different lifestyle, a different way of living, a different money bracket? What is the one thing that you say to everybody?
man, and I've been in different parts of the entertainment world. I was in the music industry for 15 years. I've been with major labels.
Okay.
I've been on that side of it, and it's the same thing whether it's music or sports. It's your circle. That's normally one of the biggest things I preach is just understanding, the people you have around you are going to dictate a lot of what your success is going to be like.
Most definitely.
And it's a hard thing because when you become successful, everybody expects you to bring them up, and it just don't work like that, you know. And you just it's tough love, you know. But that's why you see a lot of entertainers now, you know, once they make it, that circle that they used to have, it starts diminishing.
Yeah.
And what it is, it's not saying they're bad people, but you can't feed them unless you feed yourself. So the biggest thing is making sure, man, you're gonna have to change your circle. Make sure you got the people with the same goals, you know, positive people in your circle, and that's gonna help build you. And the best way that I can put that is, you know, man, you take an ice chest full of fish, right? You got all these people, they don't know how to fish. So they're constantly, here, man, here goes fish, you go eat. Here goes fish. So you're feeding everybody.
Yeah.
So what happens is you want to help people, whether it's cash or whatever, and I use that as an example. Eventually, your cooler is going to run out.
Most definitely.
You know, so best thing for you to do is if you want to help your homeboys or your homegirls or whatever, family members, give them a way to eat. You know what I'm saying? So the biggest thing is just teach them how to fish. You know what I'm saying? That way y'all all can eat forever. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things I really preach, man, is man, you're gonna have to change your circle, and you know, you can love people from a distance. And that's one of the things I learned in the music industry. Everybody that's, you know, says they're good for you, you know, that's not always the case. So and that could be family, it could be friends. So.
For sure. And what's next for Chris and the Ballengee agency?
Man, it's like a revolving door, man. We just you know, fortunately, man, we've been real successful in the 4 years now that we've had the football division. I mean, we've had several first rounders, second round, third rounders, big name players, and it just continues, man. You got every year you got that new class coming in. So for us as an agency, it's just always, you know, building and recruiting people to continue building the agency in the right direction and guiding these guys, you know, making sure they, you know, a lot of people get money, they don't know how to use money. Yeah. They don't know how to spend it. So for us, man, it's making sure that they're successful, you know, not just in football, but, you know, in life after football. And that's always our goal as an agency. But for us, it's, like I said, it's a revolving door where we always got to get ready for that next class, man.
Most definitely. Where can we find you on social media?
So it's all the same. My boxing, everything's under CDOYLE_BG football. And, I mean, that's pretty much the platform that I use, man. So you can reach me on there.
And if you had 60 seconds to speak to anybody, dead or alive, who would it be and what would the conversation consist of?
That's a good question.
Direct with it.
Yeah, you got me with it. That's good because we've met so many people, man, and so many influences. If I had the opportunity to pick somebody's brain, and it's not just pick somebody's brain, just could sit down with somebody and just enjoy a conversation. And I know it's biased because I'm in the boxing world, but, you know, like I said, I've been boxing over 20 years and coaching, and I think one of the brains and the people I respect so much probably Mike Tyson, man.
Okay, what would you talk to Mike about?
Man, just life, man. And honestly, it wouldn't be anything, you know, dealing with the ring, man. You know, I respect him as a fighter, but man, I think the biggest thing for me watching Tyson is, man, the growth.
Yeah.
You know, I love growth in people, man. And what I mean by that is, you can go back and look at a post you made on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever 10 years ago, and it'll make you question yourself. Like, man, did I say that? You know what I'm saying? That just shows you there's growth. You know, growth is a beautiful thing, and I love the way Tyson's just went from this, you know, somebody that the world feared, and I think they always respected him, but I think people respect him more now as the person he is, and the things he made it out of, man. And I love watching him talk. I watch him on his podcast. I watch his interviews, and man, there's nobody better, I think, you know, as far as trying to make it out of, you know, trials and tribulations than him, man. For me. So,
for sure.
Yeah, I think Tyson for sure, man.
And what's your take on the Earl Spence Bud Crawford fight?
Ooh.
Just give me your honest opinion.
I'm in Dallas, so I gotta be careful with that one. But
no, for sure, just give me my honest opinion. What do you feel like the issue was? Because I'm gonna say this, I don't feel like he was himself. He didn't look the same. Just keep it 100.
You know, this is the thing. First of all, I've gained a lot more respect for Bud after this fight. Not saying I didn't have before. He's always been a tremendous fighter. I think I was a little biased in this fight because, you know, I'm a Spence fan. For sure. You know, and I think, you know, part of me was like, I want him to win. But, you know, this is just my opinion. I think, you know, you reach a point in boxing where you do have to focus on your own personal health. your mental health. You know, we take a lot of punishment in the ring, and I think for me, just since the accident, it's very unfortunate, but I think since then he just hasn't been the same to me.
Yeah.
Just certain tools that he had before, reactions, stuff like that, like prior to the wreck, I just think there was a little something missing. But he's still a tremendous fighter and a champion. But to me, I just think, man, Bud's the type fighter you can't have anything missing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think you got two champions, and I mean it was great for boxing and just entertainment. Period. I think Bud, I mean, he just has all the tools and the weapons that you need. And if you're coming to a fight against somebody like that, you got to have all your tools and weapons as well, or he's gonna make you pay for it. So I just think Bud was the better guy that night. Just really sharp, his counter punching ability, his range, and but let me say this, I've always respected him as a fighter, but how he carried himself after that fight, man, I gained so much more respect for Bud, man. I think awesome guy, tremendous person, man, and the class he showed towards Spence, I think was, man, unmatched, man. So that was the biggest thing for me.
For sure.